field that is being used as a replacement for animal therapy in nursing homes, which is really kind of awesome.
So she builds planets on Earth, you guys.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our very special event, ReRooted, presented by the HairStory Project. I'm James Monroe. I'm the producer of adult programs at the Museum of Science, Boston, and I am so honored to be kicking off this important evening. We've been collaborating with the team at the HairStory Project for almost 8 months on tonight's show, led by the incredible artistic directors and co-curators Yvette Modestin and Anna Masacote. This has been such a joyous experience for our entire team here at the museum. Anna and Yvette have been working tirelessly on bringing tonight's show to life, and they've brought together a fantastic lineup of artists and voices who are going to be sharing their experiences. We're so grateful to Yvette and Anna for allowing us to be a part of this production, and to everyone involved for allowing us to share it with all of you tonight. And this evening is a part of our current virtual winter-spring season of adult programming at the museum. We are nearing the end of the season, but there's still a lot of great programming to come. Every week now through the end of May, we will be here with a free virtual event or experience. So I encourage you to check out our website at mos.org/adults and check out everything we still have coming up and register for your spot in all of those events. Now, tonight is also a collaboration with our friends from MOS and Español, which is a wonderful team and initiative that has continued to grow over the past year here at the museum. And we're lucky enough to have a member of their team with us tonight to talk a little bit more about their mission and all the work they're doing. So please take it away, Francisca.
Hola a todos y bienvenidas al Museo de Ciencia. Qué emoción poder darles la bienvenida en español. Yo soy Francisca, soy chilena y soy parte de un pequeño pero poderoso equipo de 4 personas que está responsable por traerles programación en español y poco a poco extendiendo estas oportunidades bilingües por todo el museo. We're so excited that from our humble beginnings as weekly Spanish programming, we're now getting to collaborate with adult programs for special events created with the Latinx community in mind. We hope you enjoyed tonight's program because we sure will. Y para nuestra comunidad hispanohablante, los invitamos a seguirnos por Facebook en MOS en Español para estar al tanto de todo nuestro contenido virtual. Nos pueden encontrar en vivo también los jueves a las 3 de la tarde cada 2 semanas, donde les daremos presentaciones especiales con animales, con demostraciones divertidas de la ciencia y con un par de educadores que estarán listos para responder todas sus preguntas. Así que ojalá nos vemos de nuevo y enjoy tonight's program.
Thank you, Francisca, and everyone on Team MOS and Español. It's been so wonderful getting to collaborate with you this past season, and we look forward to so many more partnerships in the future. Now, I'll be back after the show with Anna and Yvette for a live Q&A. We'll be taking some of your questions, so you can submit those at any time by going to slido.com and entering the code ReRooted, all one word. Once again, that's Slido, SLIDO.com, with the code ReRooted. I need to thank our friends from the Science Sandbox and the Simons Foundation for making tonight possible. It is because of them that we are here and that this event is free for all of you. So please join me in giving a huge virtual round of applause and thanks to everyone at the Science Sandbox. And finally, after the show, I ask all of you to consider going to donate.mos.org/MOS at home and make a gift to allow us to keep bringing free virtual programming just like tonight into all of your homes. Once again, that's donate.mos.org/MOS at home. But now it is my honor to welcome to the stream the artistic directors and co-curators of the HairStory Project and ReRooted and my friends, Yvette Modestin and Anna Masacote.
Thanks, James. Greetings, buenas tardes a todos. Good evening to all. First and foremost, giving thanks to those whose shoulders we stand on. My name is Yvette Modestin, and for tonight, I am just a lover of arts who found another way to express it and express the love of our crown, our corona, our ori. So we give thanks to the community that has supported us on this process, to our family, our friends, to all those who rise up every day in their truest light, celebrating their crown, their corona. So I'm going to hand it over to my co-curator and let her do her intro.
Hi, thank you so much, querida. My name is Ana Masacote, and I am just so excited to be here with everyone here tonight as well. Thank you so much for joining us. I am an Afro-Latin dancer and just amazed to be a part of something so meaningful to us. We also wanted to give a shout out to our sponsors and the people who have made tonight possible. A big thank you to the Museum of Science Boston, the team and the staff who've been working with us behind the scenes. Also the Live Arts Boston Grant and the Boston Foundation for making this work possible. And of course, to our many cast and artists who've been involved in the project from day one, behind the camera, in front of the camera, on the phone. You know who you are.
Everything.
Thank you so much for joining us. And I want to pass it over to Yvette. Thank you so much.
We wanted to, share why tonight ReRooted is important, but it's not just about tonight. Black hair has been policed for centuries. Latinx hair has been policed for centuries. And tonight is a way of saying, we are here to say no more. We are here to be able to rise in our own way, with our own crown. And we do this in a way through a love of art. So you will see dancers and poets and singers, beat makers, MCs, spoken word. It's all about that. And at the base of that is love. Love of self, love of complete self, love of this. And we have a special night set up for you. That comes from hours of work in so many ways. So we hope you feel the love, you see the love as you sit back and watch this. So welcome to ReRooted. And first and foremost, an introduction to our Congresswoman, Ayanna Pressley, who will open up tonight with a message about her crown and her story. Enjoy. And I hope that you walk away with the intent that Anna and I had in pulling this together, is that we all walk away in whatever stages we are in our lives to be able to say, I am here, Black, proud, Latinx, and proud, wearing my crown. Ashe.
Thank you.
Thank you to my sisters Yvette and Anna for your labor of love in making the HairStory Project a reality. And thank you for the invitation to join you to tell my own hair story. As a Black woman, like every other Black woman I know, my relationship with my hair has been a complicated one. And those complications are rooted in culture, and they're also rooted in society's notions, racist notions of what is acceptable hair, what is professional hair, what is beautiful hair. I was getting those messages so early in life that my hair, as it grew naturally out of my head, was not acceptable. And I manipulated it and tortured it and did so many things to it. I remember my head just being replete with scabs from just going through great trauma, really, to make my hair as straight as possible. And so I went through many expressions of my Black girl magic and my Black woman magic, and how I wanted to accessorize and stylize and express my womanhood, my femininity, my Blackness. I had a Sade long ponytail there for a bit. I wore a Rihanna short black bob wig. I wore extensions. And then I found myself experimenting with Senegalese twists. And I felt like I met myself fully for the first time. It's like I looked in the mirror and I said, oh, there I am. I never had felt such a serenity, such a peace, such an alignment with my Blackness, with my femininity, with my beauty than when I had Senegalese twists. And I decided with intention that I was going to continue to rock those twists in spaces that I knew it was considered professionally inappropriate and disruptive. In fact, if you just do a Google search of unprofessional hairstyles for the workplace, they'll all be images of Black women. And so I decided with intention that I was going to wear these Senegalese twists and stand in my truth and my expression, and do that within City Hall, the City Hall chamber, and within the House chamber, in the US House of Representatives. And that representation, I had no idea what that would mean to so many people. I received emails and letters from throughout Boston, throughout the Commonwealth, throughout the country. People would DM me on Twitter saying just how much it meant to them, that I was moving in the world and taking up space so intentionally with this hairstyle. Fast forward, when I went from a few spots of alopecia that my braider recognized in my head to a 5-week complete and total hair loss on my head, my face, and my body, it was traumatic. It was emotionally disruptive. I felt betrayed by my body. I felt great shame. And I felt I had no choice but to wear a unit, to wear a wig, in order to keep the secret, but also to be sort of accepted. Even though I knew that people were probably looking at me like, why is Ayana suddenly not wearing braids anymore? It was such an abrupt change. And I decided early on in that process that I was going to do an alopecia reveal, that it just did not feel authentically me to wear a wig. It felt like a costume. It felt like an armor not of my choosing. And so in that alopecia reveal, I freed myself from the secret. I took up space and created space too for those living with traumatic hair loss because of alopecia, because of cancer treatment, or because of other autoimmune diseases. I seek to bring that lived experience to the policy and decision-making table. And so that's exactly why I introduced the Crown Act, because there were so many instances that I had experienced in my own life, but also that we were hearing and learning from Black women throughout the country who had experienced workplace discrimination, that they had not been hired because of their hairstyle. They had not been promoted because of their hairstyle. And so this is an important step toward dismantling racism and oppressive environments in the classroom, in the conference room, and beyond. So I just want to take this moment to affirm that you deserve to show up in the world exactly as you are, that you are worthy, that you are beautiful, no matter how you choose to wear your hair. Shine your crown, rock your crown, and remain committed to showing up in the world exactly as you are. And if anybody gives you any trouble, I got your back, sister.
How important is your hair to you? How important is it?
It's special.
Mm-hmm.
Really special.
And why is it special?
Because the way it feels when I touch it, and I like the way it looks,
Mm-hmm.
and the way how if people say how, if they like it, my hair feels special when they tap those ways too.
Yeah. And how's it feel? How does your hair feel anyways?
Fluffy.
Fluffy?
Your sound moves and grounds the spirit as we look up and around, one with nature. We see our growth. We feel our growth. We see you. We feel you. We hear you, the whispers of the ancestors. Listen. Listen to the whispers. Embrace the leadership to lead from your crown, your ori, tu corona, for it will always guide you on your journey to love yourself, your complete self, while extending your crown.
According to Yoruba cosmology and the Ifa Orisha belief system and practice, we all have an ori. The concept of ori represent our sacred crowns, the heads on our shoulders, and the internal spiritual force inside our heads that guides our destinies. Our destinies are a potential that we can achieve with our hard work. We must honor the sacredness of both the external and internal essence of our oris. We ask that our oris bless us. Equally important, we ask that our ancestors bless us. We pour libations to honor them and to recognize that we are here because we stand on their shoulders. We are the manifestations of their hopes and their dreams. Ashe. Iba ba ba, tofu ashe o. Iba ba ba, tofu ashe. Ashe te fun wa la lo yo. Iba ba ba, tofu ashe. Iba ye ye, tofu ashe o. Iba ye ye, tofu ashe. Ashe te fun wa la lo yo. Iba ye ye, tofu ashe. We pay homage to our fathers. We pay homage to our mothers. It is those who enable us to have the ashe that we use. Ashe. Ire bi wa bi, ire bi wa bi, eyin tin she bi yin jati jati. Ire bi wa bi, ire bi wa bi, eyin tin she bi yin jati jati. We must be the leadership we want and the leadership we request of others. Behold our family. Behold our family. Those of you who are doing things in a difficult way, behold our family. Ashe.
Black girls shake their beads, summoning the orishas. The old Shun in you awakens, aligned with the spring equinox. Sisters tuck butterflies and sunflowers behind their ears. A season for black girls to blossom boldly along the hips of the horizon. Time for Baba to throw cowrie shells. That old Shun to teach you to read and wrap around the loose ends of your legacy. Let Mama Yemaya grease your scalp while Auntie Oya opens up your mind and moistens your memory. You're an African goddess. I need you to part ways with your past and comb through questions about your future. Your natural hair always laid. The paths to freedoms are found on your brain patterns, but how long will you remain lost? How long will you allow the white man to Jim Crow our children's cornrows? When will you realize whether you rock a Pam Grier afro, some Bonquisha box braids, or some Nubian twist that you need to only reminisce on those days in which you diluted the essence of your blackness? When will you start the process of part and base, apply and rinse? Sister, I need you to baptize your hair in sweet water. I wanna wash away your worries, allow the river of life to take its course, knowing that your hair makes waves. Coils, kinks, and curls, ripples of self-love and sensuality. Let them splash along the shore of your inner thigh. I dare you to dip into the divine feminine energy and just saturate. I need you to reclaim your natural beauty, relearn our dances, allow your shoulders to be oars, be your own DJ, and sister, spin the Akashic records. Roll your hips while the planets play on rotation. Let your heart beat to the drum played by Shango. Fire up that Kundalini energy, your soul's aligned. Dark sister enlightened. Take gold coins from my stream and let them adorn your lovely locks. Let your braids hang. Let your laugh linger in the air like newly opened lilies. Make mama smile while she uses the sun for a mirror and powders her face while sitting on the moon. Let your braids hang, you heard me? Let your braids hang. Be bold, be Washingtons, be twist outs, be black power fist on the top of afro kicks. Cause it's that time, it's that time, it's that time to lift your voice and sing, sister. Require a call and response. Preach to the choir and let the ancestors echo. Ashe yo, amen.
Has anybody ever made fun of your hair?
No, a lot of people in my class are respectful of other people and what they have on or what they're wearing. Some people ask if my hair is a giant puff ball when I let it out, or if it's kind of like an afro. I say it's kind of not necessarily a afro, but it's a giant puff ball. That makes them laugh.
Okay. So do they ask any other questions? Do they ask to try to touch it or anything like that? What type of things?
They just ask if it's fluffy.
It's fluffy.
Or does it get tangled a lot? Because it seems like it's tangled.
Okay.
Moving through your disruption, we find our voice. We speak our truth. Listen, it's too loud. You are disrupting the message. You are not worthy, they say. You are not beautiful, they say. We can't hear the whispers. The colonizing noise is too loud.
This is for the beauty in us. For the beast in me, I was taught to hide. Everywhere we turn, they're selling beauty. Tell us what we're not so we can't see what we are. Break you down to sell you love in a reflection. Filter out the imperfection. Who is hiding there? Did you know lighter images attract more attention? Enhanced pull 22% better. I wonder what world this would be if we weren't raised to compete for the attention of others, for the happily ever afters found at the end of a makeover. See, this is for the chiquitita raised once upon a time in Texas. At 7, she brushed her curls for hours, tied them back in a crown of frizz, colored pins all through her hair. At 9, she learned that crown was just a puff that needed to be tamed, and hair on arms too much for others' liking. She began to shave at 10, with naive hope teasing would stop. At 12, she learned the word wetback was just another stone insecure kids throw to hide behind their privilege. At 14, she tried to iron the Mexican out her hair, bent over an ironing board, only to end with a head of burnt rizos, trying in anguish to coil their way back to safety. At 15, she began to question whether the beauty was the beast. I wonder, how can we be present in this world if we are not present in our bodies? See, this is for the beauty in us. For the beast in us, we are taught to hide. Esto es para la bella en mí. por la bestia en mí, I hid inside.
Just wonder, 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 just
I am just trying to eat a sandwich. So why does it feel like I am protesting? To be comfortable in my skin is grounds for clutch purses, edgy conversations, and cringeworthy compliments. No, you cannot touch my hair. It is not yours to touch. I am just trying to eat a sandwich. 14 years old, from the school cafeteria to the courtroom. Shit like this makes me feel like punching somebody in the fucking face. These were the cries of a child, unheard and unprotected. A child who couldn't bear to watch his parents struggle to stretch another dollar, so he went out and got a job. A child who would have his hard-earned money and belongings stolen from a teacher's possession, and the only helping hand he received was, "Did you check the trash?" Man, fuck that trash. This shit make me feel like, but I checked it anyway. I surfaced the entire campus looking to get back what was rightfully mine by any means necessary, but the only thing I found was a bench at the football game for being late for the bus. 14 years old, I became the bag man, lugging my belongings, books, and pride from class to class. You expected me to carry the weight of your ignorance on my crown, but I couldn't bear the weight. So I put my head down. But still, you watched a 14-year-old child with his hands full put his hat on his head for 2 seconds when walking into the school cafeteria, and instead of asking, why is this child carrying so much baggage, you decided in that moment it was better to just confiscate the hat. Nah, I'm not giving you my hat, because the last time my belongings were stolen, I had to pick up the slack. Go to the office. This shit makes me feel like punching somebody in the fucking face. What? You gonna punch me in my face? 14 years old, from the school cafeteria to the courtroom, because a grown white man feared for his life. Your Honor, do you not see these bags that I carry? My crown is my testimony. We will not fit. So as I adjust my son's crown, I whisper, chin up, locks down.
Just wonder, 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 just wonder,
Who do you think you are? Tan comparona con tu hija en ballet, con Doña Clara Elena Ramírez, one of the top ballet academies in all of the Dominican Republic. This was the constant criticism my mother received from some of her friends. But what were they really asking? What did they really mean? How dare you, from your socioeconomic background? How dare you? You don't even own a car. How dare you, with your dark-skinned family? How dare you? Your family does not come from money. How dare you, with your small-statured, athletic-built, Afro-wearing daughter? How dare you think that she can be a ballerina? When you hear from others, it hurts. But when you hear it from your own people, it hurts in a different place. But my father dared, because the blood running through his veins was thicker than the veil of colonialism that blinded my parents' friends' aspirations and realities. My father noticed me one day mimicking the moves of older bailadoras folclóricas who were rehearsing at the school my parents ran. He dared, like his ancestors, to step out of the norm and to disrupt the perceived natural and expected flow, which would have been me dancing ballet folklorico. Classical ballet was for the elite. My dad believed that his small in stature, athletic build, Afro-wearing, bright-eyed, second child was elite. And so one day, he walked through the doors of Ballet's Clarelena Ramirez, owned by a Cuban exiled, and begged that I will disrupt their space. But I questioned, was I really disrupting? Or was my father placing me exactly where I belong?
Just wonder, 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 just
Since I don't really have my hair like much often like this, so when I do it like this, like natural, it doesn't really feel like, because I'm not used to it, so because it's kind of weird. And but I think now that we're doing this whole talk about it, I think I should leave it like this a lot more often. Not like all the time, but more now that we're talking about that it really matters and stuff.
That smooth, melodic rhythm connecting us to the source, telling us we are alive, we will not give up. We stand on their shoulders with pride and love, reclaiming our movement. We will not be silent. Listen, we are one with nature. We grow from their nurturing words, showered with love, deeply rooted in this message. We are beautiful.
You might see a style, see a dread, connect my hair to constant cannabis smell, all from my skin and how I wear the hair on my head. You don't see the journey. The memories of mercy, suffering, success, and the times I had to wear them like a jersey woven with warrior spirit. Tribe hands, with gel like clay, prayers in each strand, stories told, music made. And like camouflage matching the environments I'm raised in, but didn't lock my hair until I had to raise kin. But conversations always start with, how long have you had them? Because they're beautiful. And I'm never rude. Even though the song and dance becomes the musical, I gotta take them through my past parts. Right tail, after learning how to walk through rags, wave grease and brushing couldn't make the wave start. Nah, high tops and puff tops since water and Jail made my mom's hair curly, but I just had to get familiar with the barbershop. A black man's therapy. Stayed around the clock, even when arguments between fades didn't stop. See, I began when I was a new father. 22 expectant, too consumed with affection, yet not breaking personal prisons to take my child father. It took years, tears, a new son, suicide attempt, and an upliftment from peers. How powerful my strands became. Through heartbreak and constant change, weathered the storm when fallacies and reality were rearranged. This is more than a style. This is lineage, legacy route. And don't you dare call them dreadlocks. You better wipe that whitewash from your mouth. This is spiritual. Samson's strength and enlightenment, ancient Kemet and pharaohs, sometimes the links that seem psychic, kings, myths, and sheroes. Bob Marley's song and every black ancestor that got called a monster, cause that's how white fear goes. So, as my hair grows, so does my experiences with fatherhood and life. Accounting for the lessons, admitting wrongs. Sometimes, if you want peace, you can't always be right. Every twist is a journey. In my hair story, it's incomplete. So don't ask if I'll cut them, because my soul still got blessings to reach.
My hair moved for the first time when I was 25. Much like me, my hair, my mane, my crown, has a mind of its own. It can be many things at once, whenever it wants to be, and I realized how much I loved it. I'm beginning a relationship with my hair, and I can't help but wonder, what would it look like if I did the same with the rest of me?
I keep on falling
My hair moved,
and out of love
my mane,
with you.
my crown,
Sometimes I love you.
has a mind of its own.
Sometimes you make me blue. At times I feel good.
It has a mind of its own.
At times I feel used. Loving you, darling, makes me so confused.
I realized how much I loved it.
Keep on falling in and out.
I'm developing a relationship with my hair.
With you, I never, 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 never loved someone way that I loved you.
What would it look like if I did the same with the rest of me?
So, if you ever watched any of those 90s or 2000 teen movies, you know, the ones where the ugly girl character, the odd girl character gets this transformative makeover, you probably think to yourself, this is some bullshit. Like, this is ridiculous, because the girl is never really ugly to begin with. And the makeover really isn't all that transformative. I mean, she basically just took her glasses off and got a blowout. When I think about myself in the 2000s, right? I was a confused, biracial Dominican teenager who didn't see herself anywhere, not even within herself. That girl? Well, when I think about that girl, I think about how all she really had were those representations in those films of those characters, and they were a concept of how she saw herself, which was the ugly girl that had hoped for the possibility of a makeover one day. The only time I ever really felt like I had permission to believe I was beautiful was when I would get my hair cut. And only when I got my hair cut would I be able to straighten and blow dry my hair. My mom would take me to this Dominican salon in Roslindale. And I really didn't get my hair cut all that much, so I didn't have my hair blow dried all that much. And so basically all throughout high school, I didn't know what to do with my curly hair. I would just tie it up in a low ponytail, throw it up in a messy bun, because I didn't know what to do with it. I mean, back then, we didn't have YouTube. There was no curly hair YouTube channel that could teach me how to do my hair properly or how to take care of my hair. So I really didn't know what to do with it at all. So messy bun it was. And it was during this time, around 18 years old, in Santo Domingo, that I discovered the power of straightening my hair. My primas would get their hair straightened weekly. So of course I tagged along and I would get my hair straightened with them as well. And I remember leaving the salons with my newly straightened hair with a fresh blowout. And I suddenly didn't feel invisible anymore. I felt glamorous. And the scent of that oil that they glided through my burnt hair, that sweet scent just stayed on me. And it indicated to me, it gave me permission to believe I was beautiful. And I could only feel beautiful if my hair was straight. So I came back from Santo Domingo and I started at Emerson College. And I decided that I was going to continue to straighten my hair. I was not going to be messy bun Paloma. I was going to be that woman who has permission to believe that she is beautiful, that woman with the straight hair and the sweet scented oil. That was gonna be me. So this is the part of the story where you probably expect some kind of like big epiphany, but I'm gonna keep it real. I just couldn't afford to get my hair blow dry weekly like that, okay? I couldn't do it anymore, and I just stopped. And I decided I was going to buy myself a pote of pink Eco Gel in CVS, and the rest is history. Maybe it's as simple as I bought a pote of pink Eco Gel. Or maybe it's as complex as moving back to the Dominican Republic as an adult and realizing that the same humidity of this place that never let my straight hair be, never let my hair and my blowout stay in place, was the same place that had the perfect humidity that let my curls thrive. It was almost as if the island was begging me to let my curls just be, and so I just let them be. And today, I embrace my curls, just as they are. The choices I make about my hair are mine. They're mine to make. And so if I decide to change it, style it, cut it, or curl it, or straighten it again if I choose to, I know that it's my choice, and I can always come back to myself in my curls and know that I don't have to change anything if I don't want to. And being able to still go into a Dominican salon because I love the community, I love the storytelling and the laughter, and to know that I don't have to blow dry my hair in order to leave a salon feeling good. And that's the difference. I spent a lot of my youth believing that I was ugly and hiding myself and my hair under a bun and a false plot line from a 2000s teen movie, believing if I changed my hair, I could feel beautiful. Now, at 33, I look back at those thoughts that I had about myself the same way I look back at those movies. They are outdated, they don't work anymore, and they were based on a very white European standard of beauty that just doesn't apply to everybody. I embrace my curls. I love my curls. And as I grow older, I grow more and more to accept myself. And maybe that's the only makeover that really matters.
Do you have anything that you could tell people or girls about having their hair a certain way or anything like that? Anything special that you'd want to tell somebody about wearing their hair?
Well, you don't have to change your hair for anyone or yourself. And if someone tells you that your hair isn't pretty or you're not pretty, you could ignore them, and you don't have to listen to them because you were born a pretty way and everyone's unique in their own special ways. So you just have to accept what you have.
Harmonizing, synchronizing, feeling complete as we let you move and shake to your own beat. We are soothed by this connection, bringing all of who we are. We are whole. Listen. We are strong, loving, determined, and fearless to stand in our truth. Black spirit whispers, blackness rising today and every day.
My blackness is seen as threat often. My hair, the crown atop my scary, is wild with sharp edges that cut. My barber, my barber is a master blacksmith. Forges blades from my hair. Makes me someone not to fuck with, is essential to my survival. If you are not fond of blood, do not touch my hair. It has a tendency to sever mindless fingers, and it's quite good at it. Slice. My blackness has to maintain its reputation for threatening, and my hair doesn't have time for all that fragility. My blackness has to remind itself it cannot hold the fingers it slices. Just existing is hard enough.
Black spirit whispering, resiliency, sweet child, rise up in the light that I shine upon you. Black spirit walks by, that scent, oh, that scent, sandalwood, lines up my spine. Black spirit serenades me, walk tall, my child. Black spirit be telling me, esta gente no saben nada. Colón es África, libres somos. Ya! Black spirit guides me, protects me, sustains me, dances with me. Black spirit reminds me I am never alone. I need to go harder on this one. Yeah, give me some Miss Black America.
The ocean and I wanna dive in. She nothing like that broad out debating with Biden. She roll with pride, but she don't be lying. She's far from a chicken unless she's frying it. Sprinkle a little bit of lemon pepper.
Right.
Miss Black America, I love you forever, for real. Miss Black America's Michelle Obama, Oprah, my lady, my sister, my mama. I give you my love, my respect, my honor. Y'all are Miss Black America to me.
Holding white supremacy responsible for your blindness to see the beauty of your melanin when kissed by the sun. It shines, singing, shine, baby, shine. Hold white supremacy responsible for sitting in a chair with the heat coming out your head, brushing your nappy so hard you cut yourself. Is white supremacy responsible for you not naming why they say Afro-Latina with such ease when they look at you? Negrura pura aquí. Holding white supremacy responsible, the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice turned into, yeah, I don't want to be one of them. You fighting something every day. White supremacy shows up in all levels and forms, may take me off balance sometimes, may make the machete show up in each hand as I speak directly with the vibration of freedom. Free the land, Black power. White supremacy won't take away Blackness rising. My down to the soul love for that Black king, my magic. Yeah, I said it. White supremacy will not take away my magic. The light is bright. Today we say stop the lie. I'm not participating in any act that supports your lie. We are here taking our space, bringing our chair, speaking our truth, standing clear in my identity. I am a Black queen. Yes, you heard me. A Black queen, shedding all that does not serve me. The only processing I'm doing is processing how to move with the deep and soul confirmation that you will never see me. Your ears and eyes have been fed a lie. I'm not trying to change your mind. I'm living my best life, holding space to be free, shedding every ugly, dehumanizing thing you say about me and my crown. She didn't stop singing Strange Fruit. We won't stop saying Black Lives Matter. Las vidas negras importan. Love vibrates through these words, one with nature, growing, expanding. Breonna Taylor curls, Billie Holiday's flower, Angela Davis fro, Cicely Tyson's cornrow, Rita Marley's lock, our crown. Sweet sounding within, holding us up. We are here to tell you love resides here all the time. You dig?
I'm running for as president. Truth is evident now. No, I ain't here to play with you. You know what I'm on. You know what I'm on. Recognize the God. All praises due.
This is about love. I rise up with Blackness. I kneel before them and gather strength and resiliency for Blackness. I clean and shine up Blackness. I dress to express pride and joy of Blackness. I move with melodic Blackness. I sing Blackness. I dance Blackness. I speak truth with Blackness. I am being knocked down because of Blackness. I get back up in the spirit of warriors with Blackness. I breathe in fire with Blackness. I spit out honey with blackness. Blackness is not diluted because I speak Spanish. Colon is blackness. I learn pain from blackness. I make sweet love with blackness. I found light in blackness. Depth showed up with blackness. I welcome the whispers of blackness. I love unconditionally because of blackness. I fight for blackness. I cry for blackness. I fist up for blackness. I stand tall with blackness. My crown is extended with blackness. I give thanks to blackness. I smile joy for blackness. I love from the soul with blackness. I am unapologetic about blackness. I fell in love with sweet blackness. I live blackness. I don't rise up with blackness. Blackness rises me up, for I am blackness.
That's a wrap.
Y'all are what queens is, so please set goals and reach them. Cause y'all are what queens is. Live Black America's Michelle Obama, Oprah, my lady, my sister, my mama. I give you my love, my respect, my honor. Y'all are Miss Black America to me.
And we are back and we are live following the incredible premiere of ReRooted. And I am so lucky to be here with the artistic directors and co-curators of that incredible piece, Yvette Modestin and Anna Masacote. First off, my friends, it's so lovely to see both of you here. I'm giving you the applause that I know is resounding all over Boston and beyond right now. From our audiences who are tuning in. Congratulations. I know the journey that this project has been for both of you. And so just congratulations for sharing this incredible work with the world. How are you both feeling? Taking it in.
It's been a journey.
Yeah, a wonderful journey. I hope that you're feeling the love coming through. Even though we can't all be together showering you with the love, I felt it through the audience, and it's already coming in through the Q&A. And so we will give you both a few more moments to soak that experience in. If you have questions for Yvette and Anna, You can still submit those by going to slido.com and entering the code ReRooted, all one word. We'll try to get through a bunch of those. That'll be scrolling at the top of your screen for the remainder of this session. So I'm going to just jump right in and sort of combine two questions. Sort of what inspired the two of you to create this project, and who are some of your natural hair icons, inspirations, and heroes? So Anna, do you want to take that one first?
I'd actually love Yvette to do
Go,
that
Yvette.
first.
Yes.
I'm okay. I'm okay now. First and foremost, thank you. Thank you to everyone from the museum team, you, James, from the beginning, the Loop Lab team, Jason, Nate, Mark, Matt, every single artist who was able to meet with Anna and I and capture exactly what our ask was. Thank you to all my elders, all the people who know what this means and what a task and a struggle it was for the past year or so and the last 3 months in pulling this together. I want to give thanks to my dad for showing up, and from my sister and my brother for their patience and their love. But tonight, I thanked Anna. Every single piece of tonight came with us meeting at this place where our points of entry and our struggle about hair comes from different places. I've been doing this work for a long time, speaking on this issue for a long time. Did a small production 2 years ago, Duda, called La Corona, Messages from the Hair, inspired after someone very dear to me, a very dear friend, introduced me to the book Cornrows by Camille Yarbrough. And Anna and I did that together, and we walked away saying, we need to do something else. And we walked into this together. Every movement, every color, every sound, every word came from us doing this together. And boy, did it come together. It came together. So I, first and foremost, it's the thank you. And then, I'll let Anna do her thanks, and then we could go on and on about our inspiration, but that was our definite point of entry.
I feel that, thank you, querida, first of all. And for me, I think it's important that people know that we just really reiterate how much of a collaborative process this has been. But I also want to mention how much of this conversation has been something that Yvette has been working on for a very, very long time. And this is just a new avenue that we were able to collaborate on together. And it's just been such a blessing to be a part of something so special and help bring something that originated as a gallery show that Yvette created in 2019 and was able to blossom into this amazing virtual production that we have here today. And I hope that the people watching this feel the love and the connection and the vulnerability that all the artists have really brought to the table. I don't think that when we even started this, that we even realized how much of a healing process this would be for ourselves and for the artists as well. And just to be able to see that coming to fruition and being able to see that heart being placed out on this virtual stage is such an honor and a blessing to be able to have today.
Amazing. And you both touched on a couple of the other questions that have been coming in, one of which I just want to ask so that everyone knows. Was this piece originally conceived as a virtual production or film? A resounding no, correct?
No, it wasn't. No, when we wrote this, what the idea was, we were going to have a gallery, we were going to have music, and we were going to have DJs, and we were going to have shows, and it was going to be a weekend. And yeah, then COVID hit, and we literally were kicking and screaming. I was probably kicking a little longer than Anna around the idea that we had to do this virtually. But what's wonderful, Ana, te recuerdas, remember, when we both got to a point in our weekly meetings that we were like, okay, it's going to be virtual. Get over it. And it started to come. There were moments where it wasn't coming, but it came, and it came easy. We knew that we had to have the combination that you saw tonight. So, and then once we knew what the message, the core of the message was going to be love of self, then everything sort of just pulled itself out.
And so what was the process like, or the experience in producing and coordinating and shooting all of these incredible pieces during such an uncertain time and during the pandemic? I have to imagine that the protocol and the restrictions, it was a lot, but it also had to have been a little bit, and I say this having been in the room for some of it, incredibly exciting and inspiring to be together and see performers performing again. And so what was that process like in approaching and building each of these during this time with the artists? You mentioned people were putting their heart out on this virtual stage. What was it? What was it like? I have to imagine it'd be different than for sort of performers when they're on an actual stage to do that.
Well, I will definitely say that if art was as difficult to do during all these COVID regulations that we've had to follow, I don't know if art would get made that often. But it's been a whirlwind. It's been a lot of getting lots of city permits. It's been getting lots of COVID testing. It's been filling out form after form after form. A lot of the project originally was supposed to be this performative show in a gallery space with people interacting together and collaborating together. And so when this switched into a virtual show, we had to make these all solo artists. We had to make a lot of this solo work. And we also had to do a lot of work that required placing people in a space where they're behind a camera without an audience, and being asked to pull out that same energy that they would have with an audience. And so I will say that was a very, very interesting learning process along the way. But in that process, I will also say that Yvette and I, when we first met and we started working on the project, we met by the water. We met by the beach. And then our second meeting happened at a cafe, which we went to today. We said, where we start, we have to end. And so that collaboration inspired so much creativity. And one person would come up with one thing, one person would come up with another, and it would just fall into place. So working with the artists was very much the same way. There were a lot of Zoom meetings that really led to a lot of collaborative and creative ideas along the way. And I've often said that this pandemic, with the isolation that has happened during this time, it's really a case study into the reason why we need arts and culture and community connections. And that has the collaborative approach we've been able to take through Zoom meetings has really been able to at least spark a little bit of that same interaction you might have had in person.
Yeah, and I mean, collaboration was at the heart of this piece, and you can tell. I mean, there's so many incredible artists and teams that the two of you were at the helm of, and you did it seamlessly in a medium that is very hard to do that with. And just a major shout out to the Loop Lab again for some of the most incredible video work besides what our team created as well. But some of those were like cinematic performance pieces. And so they're an amazing group and doing amazing things. So shout out to them.
And also, James, just not only what they saw, but what they heard. The music also was very intentional.
Yes.
Very much a part of this. Like, shout out to our beat makers.
Yes.
Because actually, for my piece, I had the beat. The beat was important to me because it represented what I was trying to give homage to and ode to was hip hop, and the beat needed to be, about that. So for what they saw is one thing, but also the musician, the music also became the brothers that brought us the beats became a part of the project because they had to understand the project to then send us the beats. And literally both DL and Harvard Blue, when they sent their stuff, it was like, oh, that's it. It wasn't about having to think 2 and 3 times. It was just the right beat. So I just want to make sure. And the visual, you have the paintings, like Amanda, literally, Anna, right? We both worked with Amanda and we both were like, what if we ask her to, do something? And we didn't give any instructions other than this is about the project. And that's the beautiful painting that you see that she did at the beginning. And then my sweet community daughter, Luz, the piece that you see with the lettering in green, neon green, is a poem, and she did that whole graffiti piece. So it's not just what you saw, the people, but also behind every piece of that, our design maker, our logo maker, there's someone behind everything you saw.
And it's also dynamic, right? And like a fear that I had just early on was thinking about how do we take the video work and like the filmmaking that the Loop Lab was creating, and how does that look then with the incredible sort of visualization that our team provided, right? And all of that was filmed. All of those pieces were filmed here in the museum in front of a green screen. And sometimes in watching that, you wouldn't even know. That's how incredible they are. And so it all fused together beautifully and perfectly, all these different mediums and styles and design styles, and it's just a testament to the two of you and your eye and your creativity and the amazing curators and producers that you are. So, and I loved watching you perform in front of a green screen, Yvette. So more of that to come. A question for you, Yvette. What was the meaning behind the strong words in your Blackness poem at the end?
The strong words. That I started writing in pre-COVID, when I felt like the country, the Blackness was under attack. My Black skin was under attack. My Black hair was under attack. Me as a Black woman was under attack. Me as an immigrant was under attack. Everything that I rise up in love with was under attack. The men that I love were under attack. My nephews and nieces I had to worry about. I had to worry about my sister. I had to worry about my friends. And everything that they were telling us we shouldn't love is everything that was keeping me together. So that poem, Blackness Rising, comes from me being able to lean into that self-determination, that love, that spirit, that fearlessness in the midst of this place, this Babylon, this place that doesn't see my human light. And I will not surrender that to anyone.
And it's an amazing, way to end the show. And people are asking if it's possible to find your poem somewhere. They want to be able to read it, but they also want to be able to see it again, which you can, because now that the live stream happened, this entire performance will remain at this link on YouTube. So please spread the word and come back and watch all of his performances over and over again. But is there anywhere that people can find your poems online to read or printed?
We haven't released these yet. That's going to be part of our phase, upcoming phases for the project, that Anna and I are cooking up, some next steps. So that's going to be probably, something to do to get these out, because these are all freshly written poems that, especially and the narration, everything was written specifically for this. Blackness was a piece that I had been working on that I incorporated in, but everything else was written specifically for tonight.
So stay tuned. Follow the HairStory Project on Instagram. I'm sure that the next phase of when people can find these, it'll be posted on there. A great question. What can people do in their homes, their communities, workplaces, etc., to decolonize hair?
Anna, you go first. That's a moon question.
I think there's many things that people can do, but for me, more than anything, it starts with conversation. It starts with sitting your kids down, your friends, your parents, your family, and just having a conversation around what does hair mean to you? What's your hair story? Talking about what that hair story is. And sometimes we have these reflections on what hair means to us without voicing it. And once we start actually voicing them and putting that on the table, it really makes us sit back and think, why have we done this way for so long? Or why am I choosing to do it this way? Not that what you're doing is wrong, but why? And I think more than anything, how we live our lives, how we show up in the world, we always want to be intentional about that and understand why that is. And so starting a conversation is important, and then finding ways to educate yourself around why you are doing what you're doing today.
And I just want to pick up on that, because one of the reasons the hair issue stood out for me, because I come from wonderful hair stories. Like, I remember my favorite hairstyles as a child. I remember the women that combed my hair. I remember my mom combing my hair. I remember the first time after my mother passing away, my father combing my hair. And then I came here and started doing these trainings around unmasking identity, specifically in the Latino community, by raising the awareness of our Africanness within that context. And started doing trainings, and when I would say, walk across the room if you love your hair, there were times where no one would move. And I was like, okay, what just happened? And then I realized men and women were not loving their hair. So the deep racism, internal racism, colonialism, disconnect with self-identity and self-love extended to the hair. So I had young girls that wouldn't come to school if their kinks showed. I had young boys that talked about keeping their hair low because they didn't want their curls to show. And it was there that it was sort of like the colonization, the racism, the oppression, the white supremacy was so deeply rooted in us that it extended in our love for our hair. And as you heard, from our artists, it caused great turmoil. And, I remember having my fro and traveling, and then it got to a point that I knew that I shouldn't have my fro out when I traveled, because there was a certain level of checking that I went through when I had it out. And now with my locks, I literally can see people switch because, like Brother D. Ruff said, the perception of what a lock, someone with locks and and beautiful extensions of a visualization of nature on our head was perceived as something nasty and not clean and not beautiful. So the same work that has to be done externally in today's society to humanize Blackness, Black skin, Black pride, Black love, Black movement is the same process that has to be done internally. It's not a separate thing. It's a simultaneous thing, because you have to love yourself to then dismiss the messages that are coming, like Anna and Anne and Ashton's piece of the disruption can be very disruptive, even for some of us who are woke. I think I shared with both you, James and Anna, that at the beginning of my lock journey, there was a period where people would be like, "Oh, you're going through the ugly stage." I'm just like, I don't want to call it the ugly stage. What that stage was to me was this medium lock here was sticking up and it didn't want to, it wanted to do its own thing. To me, that stage was, you decide today that you are going to accept this. You are going to accept yourself. You are going to embrace yourself and let it come in its natural form. So even for those of us who are woke, there was still a layer to go through. So I wish everyone a prosperous journey, and I hope that the Hair Project will continue to bring moments that we can have these conversations and go deeper and have folks. And it's not about just natural. You want to wear your weave, wear your weave. If you want to, cut your, it's about coming and showing up in your full self.
Yeah, James, I remember I was doing a production, and I remember one time being at a club and somebody was coming in to say, hey, this was through Yo Soy Lola, which is also how Yvette and I first met. And that production that the person was about to come watch sparked this memory in them about their time in Colombia when their mother had told them to make sure that they fixed their hair when they went out, that they didn't get into the sun for too long, that they didn't want to get too dark. And so messages like that happen a lot also in the Latinx community. And unfortunately, you don't realize that that's playing into anti-Blackness, and you don't realize that these messages are getting placed into your psyche. And so I think really going back to analyze what messages have you received in the past, what have you taken in, is extremely important to understanding how you're showing up today.
And everything that the two of you are saying is incredibly important, I think, to realize, and it leads to a question that I'm getting a lot in here, and I hope you don't mind me asking, but people are wondering, when did each of you fall in love with your hair? Is there a time that you remember, or an age, or a style? People are asking about what styles you wore as in your younger selves.
I remember. I literally do remember. First communion, Colón, Panama, Miss De Paz gives me my curls with the hot comb. Childhood, born, raised, my mom. Rainbow City, Colón, Panama, walking across the street to Lydia King with my plaits and my bolitas. I don't know how we slept in those things, but we sure did, because I did not want not one of my balls out my hair. Mom combing, different folks. My childhood friend, who was my fellow cheerleader, would, as a track runner, braid these fancy braid styles every track meet. Remember those? Coming here, Michael was a hairdresser I found that kept my hair natural, and I changed it in all colors and everything. And then for almost 15 plus years, my friend, which I hope she's watching, Tracy, doing my hair, and my fro, she did such fabulous styles on my fro. People would stop me in the street to ask about it. And then my beginning of my locks now. So I don't, and me even doing my hair is joy. I enjoy doing my own hair.
Well, I want to reiterate something that Yvette said earlier today about not coming from a family where you had bad hair stories. And I think when I was young, I also grew up in a place where I loved my hair. The earliest video that I have that I know of, I was about 6 years old, and I'm sitting there in the mirror, and I reference this in my poem. It's I'm watching myself in the mirror, brushing my hair out. And for people, if you have curls, generally that's not the idea. You don't brush your curls out, right? But I'm there brushing my curls out. I ended up with this big poof ball, and always had the colored pins, because you have to have, you can never have enough colored pins. You need as many colores as you can get. And I would always put them in. And then I was there for about an hour at this mirror. Went out and just started going out to play. And that changed. I fell out of love with my hair as I started going to a school that was a minority to majority transfer program. And I'm one of the kids in the classes that was constantly getting bullied because I always looked different from the other kids in the classes. And so I started trying to change and morph and assimilate and change things about myself that I did not feel looked like the other kids. And it's just as a way to try to stop that bullying. And I fell back in love with myself when I started to get more connected with the other Chicanas in my classes and in my school. And it became something that I started to realize that I could be me and I could show up, and it was freeing to be there, to be able to just be.
Well, I think that those are a lovely place to end. And I could sit and talk to you both as we have done for hours, but we have reached our time. But I just want to end because there's a lot that we didn't get to in here, but I just wanted to end on some of the love that's coming in for both of you and for this project. Not a question, just a comment. Wicked amazing, freaking amazing, congrats. No question, I just want to say what an awesome presentation. It was enlightening, educational, informative, and so much more. It is an affirmation in my hair journey, embracing the journey. God bless you and continue to educate the world. Blessings and love. Is it too much to ask for a program like this quarterly? That's a lot of work, but we could do it. Maybe not quarterly. But I've never felt so connected and embraced by my culture. Wonderful, magnificent, and healing. Congratulations on this beautiful, important, powerful piece, and so much more. So I'll share the love with you both afterwards. Any final remarks, Yvette and Anna, to our audience tonight before we let them go and you go?
Can I go first? Because I definitely want Yvette to have the last word.
Yes,
here.
Go, Anna.
First of all, I want to make sure that I also give this shout out to a couple of the musicians that hadn't been mentioned also, Akili and Colgan, and then Ashton, who worked on some of the beats for the dance montage. Music, sometimes we don't always get the people in front of the camera, and they're so important to this. I also want to give a big shout out, and I hope everybody here knows, watching, that the Museum of Science team has been phenomenal. James, you and your team believed in this vision at a time when so many people did not. We pitched this to so many people, and they weren't not getting it. And they came from a place of trying to understand something that they couldn't possibly understand because you've never seen this. in this context before. And so you came to us and just said, great, how can we do this? How can we help? And that says so much to you and your team. And Yvette and I are just phenomenally grateful for you. So everybody watching this, we hope that you follow our work and that we're so thankful that you've been connected with us. And to my collaborator, Yvette, I just adore you. And thank you all so much. And hi to my family, because I think this is their first time watching me in a production. So,
Yvette, any words?
This really came from a place of love, and I just hope people saw it and felt it and are walking away with it. I give thanks for that. For that gift of a village and a family and a community that held me through this. But most importantly, Daddy showed up all right. Daddy showed up all right. And the dedication is beyond the most important thing about tonight. So thank you.
Thank you both. I'm sad that this process is ending, but I know it's just the start to the next one, and you'll be getting an email from me tomorrow. When can we do it again? I adore you both, and just from everyone here at the museum, this has been such a re-inspiring project for us during this time. So thank you. And thank you again to the Loop Lab and every single artist and performer and person behind the scenes that was a part of this. Thank you to Science Sandbox and our friends at MOS and Español for making tonight possible. And thank you to all of you for joining us on your Thursday night. We hope you will continue to do so and join us next week. As you leave, there will be some information about our next program. We hope you can join us. Until we see you again, stay safe, stay well. Anna and Yvette, tons of love. I can't wait to hug you in person. Have a great night.